Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yeah, I thought I'd talk a little bit today about what most people don't really know about academic life. I spend an awful lot of time sat here in my office, um, writing, reading, marking. I've got an awful lot of jobs on as well. When I used to be a consultant, and you'd have maybe one or two jobs, whereas in academia you've got dozens. Sorting out teaching. I'm director of the Doctor of Business Administration, so I'm trying to organise a new course. That involves a great deal of time, or looking at curriculum, reading regulations, trying to make sure that what we develop is interesting and also meets the QAA, the UE, the Association of Business Schools. All these different organisations have rules and regulations. We're trying to make sure that not only does the course meet the students' requirements, but also it meets all these regulations. So you have to know the regulations, and you have to try and make sure that what's being put forward meets them. I've also been doing marking. We've got master's degree students' reports coming in. That's a 20,000 word document that you read and you double mark. So for every one you do, you have to read somebody else's, and then you exchange and you discuss with your colleagues about that mark. So that obviously takes a deal of time. Even just arranging meetings can take some time. I'm writing multiple papers. Why? I write quite a lot of papers. I enjoy writing papers, but what you have to do is write quite a number at the same time, because you never know what timescales they're going to come out. When it comes to paper writing, I really believe that as an academic, you should write often, you should write your ideas, you should try and get them published. Otherwise, what are you achieving? I think if you've got ideas, put them out there. We're under a lot of pressure to publish in leading journals. I do have some strong issues. Maybe I should do a whole separate vlog about that, about the fact that we write on our own time, often on weekends and evenings. We then submit these to journals where we also, as other academics, edit them. So I also do a lot of reviewing. So you're sent papers to review. You do all of this, then eventually maybe it's published. And then the university has to pay to get access, and it's quite a lot of money. So yes, there are fees for office management, etc. by these journals, but I don't believe it's as much as is charged. I could be wrong. Maybe I need to see that business model. And obviously they've developed big brands around certain journals. But I think knowledge, particularly when it's already been paid for, must be free, and really should be open access to all. But that's a personal view, and yes, I understand business models. So what else am I doing? So today I'm doing marking. I am reviewing a new bid for more money. We are effectively, as academics, small businesses, so you have to run lots of different clients to try and make sure that you've got funding to keep those that work for you or do research with you employed. So you're constantly worrying about bringing money in. I'm designing the Doctor of Business Administration course at the moment, so I have to do a few things on that today. I'm writing a number of papers with colleagues, but I've got one particular paper with a colleague who's particularly keen. He wants my input on that, so I've got to read that. I've got to arrange another meeting with another project to try and figure out if there's space for blockchain in aid, and try and bring teams together to discuss that over in Oxford. So I've got to try and do that today. And then at some point I would like to get back and write and read a paper. Well, I'm reading Gadamer. I'd like to produce some little vlogs to explain how I'm understanding Gadamer, and that contribution to philosophical hermeneutics, and how we interpret text, and how we might think about bias and things like that. But I've got so much work on and so many different things pulling me in different directions. It's very difficult to balance and figure out where you need to go. And on top of that, I've got all sorts of admin, students asking for meetings. I'm doing a number of talks, so I've also got a talk that I've got prepared for next Wednesday on Internet of Things. So it's incredibly busy, and it's very stressful as well, because you're kind of isolated as an academic. You spend a lot of time trying to juggle all these balls, and everybody wants your time, and it can be who shouts loudest, and that's never good. So there we are. This is what I'm going to be doing all day, and I did it all day yesterday, and I'm going to be doing it all day tomorrow. Yeah, sat on your own in a room, talking to a camera. Anyway, let's get started. So it's just coming up to 11:30 in the morning. I've sat here for, what's that, 8, 9, 10, 11, 3.5 hours, tapping away. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm reflecting on how I'm feeling at the moment. I'm really struggling with something called the imposter syndrome, which academics talk about a lot. Some days you feel like, yeah, I'm really across this, I know stuff. Whereas other days you think, oh, what am I doing? What's my actual expertise? Do I actually know anything? It does feel like today's a little bit down. I'm trying to get lots of stuff done, and stuff's not getting done how I would like. So it does lead to these incredible feelings of insecurity and panic that most academics seem to have. Do I actually know anything at all? I'm also going to go and do some talks next week, so I've realised I've got to prepare a presentation for that on top of all the other things I'm trying to do. So it's all a bit fraught, but such is the day of the academic. It was really interesting talking to a colleague who came from the Gulf states, and he was in construction, worked in Kuwait, and he joined us and came into my office one day and said, "Glenn, when does it stop?" And I said, "What do you mean, mate?" And he said, "Well, in construction, yeah, we work really hard, we work really long hours building, whatever it was we were building. But then the project came to an end, and we had a break, we moved on to the next. We didn't take much work home with us. If we work weekends, we tend to be paid. When does it stop?" And actually, another colleague, Irene, said to me, "Academia is a vocation, it's not a job. It's a bit like farming. You never stop, you never get a break, you're always on." And I think most academics would sort of understand that. You're always having ideas, and you don't get to get away from it. So there is no end. Yeah, but I'm really struggling today. It's really hard. And I've got so much to do. Right, so with so much to do, I probably shouldn't be talking to this little camera. Okay, well, it's pretty late. I've done the presentation for next week. I've been through and edited the bid for trust, security and privacy. I've looked to organise a meeting with Oxfam. That's quite exciting, looking at blockchain. Finished my marking, sent that off. So yeah, the presentation's hopefully ready. That's good. And now I'm reading a paper on trust and privacy. It's been a long day. It's past 8 o'clock. That's a 12-hour day at the desk. Now breaks for lunch. But there we are. Welcome to academic life.